This bowl is a representation of all of the decisions we've made that have not worked for us. So our clutter ends up on our flat surfaces, or like for me, in this bowl. And at first we think our clutter is so random. The secret is that this is a bowl that tells me a lot. We're going to talk about the 7 practical ways of finding homes for your clutter and how I learned how to do this, going from somebody 6 years ago who was completely a hot mess, where I have some really great things in my back pocket that let me look at a bowl like this with everything but the kitchen sink and know that I can accomplish putting these things away successfully without anxiety. If you're new here, my name is Becky Truda, and I have been decluttering over the past 6 or 7 years because I got to a point where my home was my nightmare and I never wanted to go home, which was really hard for somebody whose husband and daughter were both homebodies. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to acknowledge what you see on your flat surfaces or in your baskets near the front door. What is your clutter telling you? Now, this oddly is a step that I missed for years because I just thought if I decluttered enough things, and the homes would just show themselves and it would be really obvious. And now where that had a basis in truth, I wasn't paying attention to what things needed to stay and why they were still here. You might see things like mail on the countertop, your sunglasses always left out on the table, or the pen that my husband always seems to bring in when he comes back from work. Today, we're gonna work on mapping our clutter around our house. What are you noticing today? And let's just start with one room. Start with a place that would give you the biggest benefit if you were to organize it correctly. In this space where I get a lot of random clutter throughout the day is that my basket that I provided for myself near the entryway door isn't big enough for the things on a daily basis that I need to throw in there. Is the storage that you have in your entryway convenient to use? When we hide our storage system away from ourselves, a lot of times those things don't get put away. So if it is things that you are constantly using on a daily basis, said shoes, hats, gloves, if the storage is hard and complicated to use, you're not going to use it. Something, thank goodness, I stopped believing was that you needed to have really small and highly selective categories for our clutter. It just doesn't work. And even if you got it to work, it would be so exhausting to try to keep up with it. So what I decided to do over the past couple of years is to create broader categories. The broader, the better, and then work my way down. So you need to find where you're comfortable first. So I'll show you one of the most broad categories that I have in my laundry room, and that is simply a bin for extras. Extras. That's all the tag I put on it because everything in this little bin, I'll show you guys, are things that are extras. Extra little clip things are extra, what are these called? Things that get the lint off, lint removers. There we go. Extras, right? We have those all around our house, and yet I never knew where they were really supposed to go. But now I do, because I have a bin that simply says extra. So when I tell you to create broad categories, make your dog stuff everything that has to do with your dogs. And then when you feel more comfortable, sure, go ahead and start making it a little bit smaller. Made a basket for batteries because I want to know exactly where my batteries are when I need them. Do I separate every single battery out? No, ma'am. They're all in here. Every battery that we own is in here, but it's a category that I know is highly used. And so this makes it a lot easier for me to find. But if you're just starting out, don't start with a battery bucket. Start with all of your electronics going in one basket and then work your way down. One of the biggest misconceptions is that our storage needs to look perfect and that we're more interested in having everything be labeled and look great than we are in the functionality of the actual storage. So if you're on the train that I was on, let's get off. And now the next one is going to be, instead of worrying about how pretty it's all going to be, I want you to think about where is it going to be? One thing nobody tells you about moving is that once you finally settle into your new home, you suddenly realize how many things you have to start over. New grocery store, new routines, new schools, and for me, finding a new doctor. And that's why I wanted to thank ZocDoc for sponsoring today's video. Over the past year, we've downsized and moved into our dream neighborhood. And while I wouldn't change it for anything, trying to find a new healthcare provider felt really overwhelming. Between comparing doctors, reading reviews, checking insurance coverage, and calling all of the offices, it quickly quickly became one of those tasks I kept putting to the bottom of my to-do list. As someone with ADHD, I know how easy it is for a task with a lot of steps to feel much bigger than it actually is, and that's why I was so happy to discover ZocDoc. ZocDoc makes it incredibly easy to find local in-network doctors. You can read their reviews, see real appointment availability, and book appointments right there online. If finding a new doctor has been sitting on your to-do list, like it was mine, head to ZocDoc.com/minimalease and get started today. So thanks again, ZocDoc, for sponsoring today's video and helping make healthcare easier for all of us. I used to have tons of shoes, and so I used to keep a lot of my shoes in my bedroom. You know where I don't go to look for shoes? In my bedroom. I never did. And yet I thought if I had them in my bedroom, I could put my whole outfit together and the shoes would be included. It would all look good. Never worked for me. That's not where I needed my shoes to be. I needed my shoes to be near the front door. We'll have really good expectations of our choices, and yet we're not using the simplest rule, which is just where do you end up dropping these things? Okay, this next one we're going to talk about because it's one of my favorite rules I adopted over the years, and that's just to reduce the amount of homes that you have. Yes, we can pick broad categories, but if you have medicine in all the drawers around your house, guess what? You're not going to remember where these things are, and you're certainly not going to remember if you need to go get more. And so what I've done is in my medicine bin, I have all the medicine. I have Band-Aids, I have lozenges. I even have those little earpluggy things. I have it all in one bin. And yes, it does look a bit of a hot mess, but colors don't show on the outside of the bin, so it's been simplified and everything is in here. I don't have to run around my house trying to find my medicine. I know it's going to be in here, and guess what that does? If it's not in here, I don't have it. Is that not the best feeling in the whole world? I get so excited about this kind of stuff just because it's the simple things that really change the way I run and have taken back my life. It's not about buying the right basket. It's not about buying a bigger home that has more closets. No, it is about being able to simplify and then being able to take charge of where you're putting your things. So if you are enjoying this video real quick, I'd love for you to join us. We're a fun little community on Minimal Ease, but also throw a heart emoji down below if you are organizing with us. All right, here's the thing. I'm always going to be honest with you guys about my failures. And one of them I realized was that I was making the shoe entry way too hard to deal with. One of the housewarming gifts I had gotten is a shoe holder. I am going to use it because you know what? It's what I have. But I realized I had overcomplicated something because it is so specific on how many shoes you can fit in, what size shoes you can put in there. Now, I did end up moving this piece of furniture right behind me because I knew that I had made the mistake of putting this in our entryway and I wanted to simplify it. All of my shoes and some of my daughter's shoes will go in here. It's okay to make lots of mistakes as you are organizing, but keep in mind when you notice things that are a mistake, try not to do them again. This next one you would think would be a no-brainer, but it's not. I first heard about the idea of the container rule from Dana K. White in her book, A Slob Comes Clean, and highly recommend if you want to check her out. But she talked about how no longer can we think about how do I fit all of my stuff in the basket that I have? Maybe I need more baskets. Instead, we're going to think about, okay, this is the basket I am given. What is going to comfortably fit in this space? When she said that, it's not about trying to fit everything we possibly can into a basket just because we're given a basket. How am I using the basket or the container in a helpful way where I'm going to be able to see everything that is in said container? I'm going to be able to put everything back really easily, because trying to shove a bunch of stuff in a basket, knowing that at the end of the day, you're not going to remember what's at the bottom of the basket because it's covered with all the stuff, right? That's a terrible feeling for me. I remember on my decluttering journey, getting rid of tons and tons of bags of clothing and feeling really good about it. And then you know what I did? I ended up buying more clothes and more hangers because I felt like, oh, I have this wonderful space. Now I can fill it. The biggest problem we all have is that we start to clear up a little space, and you know what we want to do? we're like little squirrels and we want to refill that space. Well, this is your moment to step back and say, no, I have decluttered this space and I'm going to just live in it for a while. Don't think about buying more baskets. Please don't run out to the store and go get all of the labels and all the organizational stuff until you live with it for a little while. If you have too much clutter, I guarantee you, girl, there is no amount of hooks that you're going to hang up. There is no amount of shelves. There's no amount of cute storage that you're going to be able to buy that's going to be able to fix your problems. What is going to fix your problems 100% every single time is saying, okay, I don't need 6 jackets. I need 4. Let me get rid of 2 of them. Let me see if that's enough. And probably down the road, you're going to think, maybe I only need 3. It will save you all that time of hanging up a million hooks in your entryway for all the jackets that you ended up really not needing. And so I want you to think about right now as you are decluttering your stuff and getting rid of things and it's feeling really good, right? I love the feeling of dropping a bunch of stuff off at the Goodwill or giving a bunch of stuff away and you just feel so light. Sit back and really enjoy that feeling. Let's not rush through that feeling that we get, that dopamine hit we get when we get rid of stuff and have some open space. The most uncomfortable I have ever been in my home was when I first took down all of the decor on our shelves and on our walls, and I just lived with it for a while. I think it's called hushing the room, but back then, I didn't know what it was. I just knew I was going insane. And so I just took everything down just to see what it would feel like. And when I did that, I realized that, yes, it was uncomfortable for about a week. And then I realized, hey, I don't have anything to dust. I don't have anything that I have to straighten. And I don't have to fix that gallery wall that it never looks right to me. I didn't have that kind of burden on me. And so as quickly as the uncomfortable came, soon, very quickly after that, I felt an immense sense of relief that I had so much less to take care of, and I could focus on things that truly I found more important than my stuff. So having a clutter-free home, I can't say I have one. I wouldn't say I have one. You know what I have? I have a simplified, logical home, which is hilarious for me to say because, girl, not logical. I wouldn't say I was logical, but I have learned how to be more logical because I've expanded my storage. I've thought about where things keep being laid out, and I have completely decluttered my life to the point where now even when my home gets really cluttered, it's not so bad. I can rationalize it to myself saying, it's not going to take an all-day clean. It really is only going to take 25 minutes to clean my whole home. And what a powerful feeling that is to know that I am in control. That's where I want you to be. I just want you to be in control of your home. All of our homes are going to look different. They're going to have more clutter. They're going to have less clutter. They're going to have more kids. They're going to have less kids. It doesn't matter. That's what I keep trying to say. It just doesn't matter how many kids you have, how many people you live in your home, how big your home is or how small. It's about the feeling that you get when you're in control of your clutter and you feel empowered to be able to take your home back. And that's all I wish for you guys. All right, friends, I hope you've enjoyed this and maybe gained a little grain of salt knowledge. And of course, guys, these are all just lived experiences that I'm sharing with you guys. And so I hope they have helped. But if you want to continue learning about minimalism and decluttering, then click on one of these videos right here. And of course, as always, I wish you guys the very best.